Jolly good afternoon to all of our viewers, and we are now at Thurrock Oakfield for this afternoon's Region 2 game between Dagenham and Thurrock. Dagenham are a relatively new club. They were formed in 1991 when a group of friends decided they enjoyed drinking port and they should take some exercise to warrant the drinking of that port, so they formed a rugby team. 1991, of course, is quite a young team. Thurrock, we are now finding, was originally formed in 1928, but actually the research suggests that it was there as far back as 1894. So almost 100 years difference between the two teams. Dagenham have had a stellar couple of seasons, been promoted through 2 divisions, and have got injected a lot of really good players into the club. In fact, there are quite a few players who formerly played for Thurrock. Josh Cook, the scrum half, Nat Farrell, the captain, Frankie Neal has played there, Lewis Bruce, Earl Gorman, centre Josh Groom is a William Edwards student, former William Edwards student, and of course we have a lot of old players thoroughly enjoying their careers at Dagenham. So Dagenham played Central Park behind the town hall. As I said, they've had some magnificent seasons. Already this season they've done very well, having gained promotion. They're right up the top end of Anglia Region 2. Thurrock have had mixed fortunes, having won 2 and lost 2 this season. Possibly 2 games they should have won, but managed to get a 5-point victory at Norwich last week. So today's teams, just before they run out onto the field. So Dagenham have at fullback Liam Power Jr. He was a Colt at Thurrock. Joe Daniels is on the right wing. The centre combination is Earl Gorman, who spent many years at Thurrock, also at Eton Manor. Josh Groom, William Edwards, former student. Nat Farrell, who spent 7 or 8 seasons at Thurrock, who's the captain of Dagenham. Fly half is Tommy Cameron, and scrum half is Josh Cook, who had the pleasure of playing with Michael Stanley before he went on to Samoa to play in the World Cup. So Jason Taylor is the loose head prop, Chris Warner is at hooker, Sam Clark is the tight head. Conor O'Toole forms a second row partnership with Will Nolden. We move to the blind side where long-serving Thurrock player Brad Rettigan returns to his old club. Brad Rettigan played many games for Thurrock, perhaps as many as anybody. At open side is Charlie Wilkinson and Mitch Sinfield is number 8. On the bench we have Ben Davis, Evan Westcott, and yet another former Thurrock player. So Thurrock enter the fray, led out by captain Ben Timpson. Now Clift has reverted to full back this week in the absence of Rhys Cotter. Kai Holloway returns to the right wing. Caelan Watts-Adams resumes in the centre with Henry Bird. Ahmed Aminu is on the left wing. Blake Burns and Scott Chitty form a new young half-back partnership. And Anthony Catchpole, Lawrence Brown and George Miles sit in the front row. Dritan Loka forms a mighty second row partnership with Jay Jennings, leaving Cody Holloway, Jamie Orr and captain Ben Timpson back row. On the bench this week, the returning Tom Wildman from injury, Dan Olf and Rob Murphy. So Blake Burns is about to kick off in what should be quite an epic encounter. We're in the midst of the World Cup and we're looking forward to an exciting game this afternoon in perfect conditions. Very little wind at Thurrock Oakfield and Blake Burns prepares to kick off with his left foot. Thurrock in their traditional black and white, Dagenham in their quartered shirts of red and white. This is well taken. And Josh Cook looking to make progress. Very sharp scrum half, Josh Cook. A lovely pass to the ball. We'll look to tap and go. Good start by Jason Taylor and Chris Warner. Josh Groom is tackled in the centre. Thurrock have very quick line speed. Let's come back to Tommy Cameron, who with his left foot sends the ball. It's well taken by Ben Timpson. Feeds inside now Clifford. Clifford looking back outside to Ben Timpson. The ball has gone forward. Much to the joy of the travelling support. They have travelled about 12 miles down the A13. So the first scrummage, Josh Cook to feed. Josh Cook was outstanding with Ian Rudgley and Mike Stanley some 12 years ago when Thurrock got promoted to National Division 3. There's a good steady first scrum. Honours fairly even. Cameron, ball's got Robson Groom who throws a dummy. Blake Burns manages to get the tackle in. And Thurrock were deemed to be offside. Interesting to see two left-footed fly halves today. Tommy Cameron, of course, and Blake Burns. Naturally, the purists would say that kick should have been taken with the right foot. There aren't many purists left, not even the World Cup. You know, it's one of my particular bugbears when people use the banana kick, which can only possibly go about 20 metres. So Brad Rettigan is a supreme line-out jumper, we remember. That was very well taken by Conroe Toole. Sets Josh Cook free at the base of the breakdown. Trademark little handoff and darting run. Dagenham get another penalty. They've certainly come full of confidence. And please, former Thurrock player Nat Farrell on the right wing today. Though he is sporting number 11, I think. Cameron elects to go towards the corner. As you can see, bathed in glorious sunshine once again. It's good afternoon to former Thurrock winger, Mr. Keith Davis. These days, having difficulty carrying a pint of beer, let alone carrying a rugby ball. So Thurrock win that one. Their first chance, and Cody Holloway is held up. No, he's kept going. A very powerful young man, Holloway. Comes back to Blake Burns, and he sends a kick down the middle of the field. That's bounced on, so it's going to be a good kick. Cameron is back there, but he is on his left foot. Looks as if he's about to run. Very well tackled, upended there in the tackle. There was a tremendous tackle from Kai Holloway. Upended his man, sent him backwards. There's still a little bit of afters going on there for some reason. On this occasion it is Thurrock's feet and head. Oakfield regained a bit of its beauty this week with some rain. A fortnight ago, of course, it was parched. Players are asking about the sort of boots they should wear. The game, certainly long studs wouldn't have been appropriate. Andy Yarrow is the coach of Dagenham, and he is also the coach of Thurrock Ladies. Alex Lamb is the London Society referee. Referees quite a few games in Essex, even though he hails from Surbiton, Surrey. So Scott Chitty to feed the ball. It's a good feed for him. Josh Cook tries to intervene. This time now Clifford runs into the line from full-back. A penalty coming, but Ben Timms will want more than that. Engages 3 players. Scott Chitty decides to feed Anthony Catchpole. Keep the ball rolling, so as to speak. Blake Burns feeds behind to Clifford, a missed pass. Caelan Watts-Adams has thrown a dummy, and then he's put Kai Holloway. That's a first-class try. So Caelan Watts-Adams there has moved into the centre, threw a lovely dummy. His momentum took him forward, and he fed Kai Holloway with a beautiful pass. This time it was a two-handed pass, as befits a centre. Very fluid movement. Good to have Niall Clifford back at full-back this week. He's played a lot of his rugby at full-back. He's very versatile. Fly half, centre, wing, full-back. He's played everywhere except scrum half. In the absence of Jake Bedding, though, Scott Chitty has resumed. And with Rhys Cotter not available, Niall Clifford has fitted seamlessly in the full-back slot and made that try. Great play by Watts-Adams. And Blake Burns has slotted the conversion. So it's Thurrock 7, Dagenham 0. Cameron with the unenviable duty of kicking off again. It is a beautiful floated kick though. So Will Norton is first to that, and he takes that beautifully. Jason Taylor and Sam Clark on the charge. Gives Nat Farrell a chance on the outside. He's hit by a double tackle with Dritton Loka and Ahmed Amew. Good work by Mitch Sinfield in the middle of the field. Andy Catchpole called into action with a tackle. Dagenham go blind. Charlie Wilkinson very well tackled by Cody Holloway. Thurrock go to ice. Absorb the pressure here. Jamie Orr with a good tackle. Bill Gorman comes straight on the charge to his old teammates. No quarter are still given. Nat Farrell looking for the ball in the middle of the field. Dagenham already have the penalty to look forward to. Henry Bird, solid holding tackle in the middle of the field, so Dagenham will come back for the penalty. And eventually he decides to kick at goal, and the instruction from Captain Farrell. Of Mr. Cook, Josh Cook's father, standing coach for many years at Robert Clack School, and provides a good pathway for the Dagenham club. It's good afternoon to Stuart Wilson and Bob Williams and Brian Davis down in Wales. Really good to speak to Stuart Wilson, former Brentwood centre this week. This is one way we have of networking. It's good afternoon, John Langley down in Tewkesbury. So it's kicked by camera and brings the score down to 7 points to 3. Of course, Dagenham feel perfectly at home in this league, as do fellow promotion rivals last season, Harlow. And they sit prettily very close to the top of the table. Playing some good rugby, played their strength. Still Gorman there on the charge. Cameron looks a very accomplished fly half. Oh, that was taken back into 22 and he wasn't really aware of that. So it's the established pairing of Josh Cook and Tommy Cameron against the young partnership of Scott Chitty and Blake Burns. It'll be interesting to see how they get on. So Thurrock have an attacking line-out. Brad Rettigan is an outstanding line-out operator. It went to young Jay Jennings, though, who managed to throw the ball down. It then bounced, but it didn't go forward, so Chitty is able to feed the forwards. Dagenham go for the turnover. Don't quite make it. That gives Clifford a chance. Thurrock get the penalty coming, and Dagenham kill that one, and Thurrock are awarded the penalty in front of the posts. So a very quick riposte for Thurrock, having conceded 3 points. They've now got back into the Dagenham half and subsequently have a penalty, which it looks as if Blake Burns is going to attempt to convert from close range. Burns kicked very well last week, 5 out of 5. In quite difficult conditions at Norwich, very open field there, quite windy. So it's Burns with the penalty attempt in front of the posts, in front of the new school buildings. Strikes out really firmly, was come back off the post. So Thurrock had a chance to extend their lead, but unfortunately the ball hit the post. Dagenham have recovered well. It's back to Cameron, who clears with his left foot. So I'm very sorry there, was the commentator's curse. Having just explained how Burns kicked very well in windy conditions last week. This week he's undone by the strong upright. At the northern end of the pitch. Lawrence Brown to throw in. Streethand Loker at the front against Brad Rettigan. Loker manages to win that one comfortably. Thurrock start to trundle forward. Dagenham have to reset. Chitty goes in for the ball. Burns. This time Henry Bird decides to run into the middle of the field to Cameron. Somehow they've managed to pull the ball away from him, though. Cameron now with his right foot, showing he does have a right foot. It was a late tackle as Cameron kicked ahead, and Thurrock have conceded the penalty. So unfortunately, discipline has let Thurrock down. And Jamie Orr has been shown the yellow card. So a little bit of indiscipline. Thurrock find themselves down to 14. It's very well taken by Brad Retkin at the front of the line out. Now got a bit of shared ride. Nat Farrell dumped unceremoniously in the middle of the field. Brad Rettigan trying to run through the defence. Lovely pass by Josh Robson-Groom. Good movement by Dagenham. Set Joe Daniels away. It was a great cover tackle by Ahmed Aminu and by Niall Clifford. Watts Adams managed to get across the field. So Dagenham testing out the Thurrock defence. Initial drive. Jay Jennings takes that ball in the middle of the line out beautifully. Fine athlete, this young man. Chitty then feeds Burns, who uses his left foot and with a wonderful spiral kick sends the ball right back down the field, some 50 yards. Been talking recently about the value of the spiral kick, and that demonstrates fully what a great weapon it is. That's taking the ball fully 50 metres down the field. That would have pleased former captain Clive Bynan. Always encourages spiral kick. So it's Mitch Sinfield in the middle of the field, taken down by his opposite number. Robson-Groom throwing a dummy, then runs into Blake Burns. Blake Burns goes for the jackal. Scott Chitty has no option but to kill the ball. There was a kick ahead by Nat Farrell. It's a bit of pace from his youth, but nevertheless, a fine kick ahead, fine chase. And Scott Chitty was put in an invidious position whereby he had to kill the ball at the end. Both captains have been called forward there. It looks as if a lot of people are trying to interfere with the referee and calling for decisions to be made in their favour. So Nat Farrell and Ben Timpson both being given a talking to by the referee. Have been advised to talk to their players. Alex Lamb. So Thurrock holding on to the ball are penalised. The referee is tired of being told what to do by players. He's given them both a dressing down, and Dagenham have opted for the scrum with the additional player at the back. So no doubt Dagenham will go for the drive in this scrum. Thurrock's 7 forwards will have to withstand this. Dagenham have got a slight nudge moving forward. Cook decides to throw the ball out. Cameron throws a dummy in the middle of the field. That's a fine tackle by Thurrock. Cook has the ball again in attacking position. They feed on. And that gives Nat Farrell a chance to score in the corner. in his former happy hunting ground. So that is Dagenham 8, Thurrock 7, with a conversion to follow by Tommy Cameron. We're here with the former Saracen, the remarkable Peter Worsfold here this afternoon in the stand. Good afternoon, sir. And his great friend Alan Harding, another fly half of repute, ill repute. So this afternoon we have an interesting battle. We have two left-footed fly halves. So nobody will be happier on that field at the moment than Nat Farrell, who's just scored a try against his old team for Dagenham to take the lead. It's Dagenham 8, Thurrock 7, and Tommy Cameron with a left-footed conversion to follow. It's probably nothing like as good as Peter Worsfold was kicking conversions. That man could kick conversions from anywhere. To extend a welcome to Peter's son, Tom, former Thurrock fly half, who's out in Portugal, we believe. Cameron can't make that conversion, and so it is Thurrock 7, Dagenham 8, with about 6 minutes left on the sin binning. Thurrock have gone the wrong side of the referee during this half. It's led to a yellow card and a talking to the captain. Burns prepares to kick off with his left foot. And unfortunately that's gone straight into touch, and Dagenham will get the scrum back. Probably the last thing Thurrock wanted, with only 7 forwards on the field. I'm sure the young man won't let that get to him. Dagenham looks solid in the last scrum. Brad Rettigan on the blind side, Midge Sinfield, Charlie Wilkinson, solid back row. Thurrock without their open side, Jamie Orr. Thurrock 7's holding quite well. Ball comes out to the right. Cookfield's Josh Robson. Earl Gorman. Well tackled by Ahmed Aminu. Adams wrestles for the ball. Nat Farrell. Taken low by Ahmed Aminu. Playing like a flanker. Some good tackling in the middle of the field. George Miles. Dagenham trying to exploit the outside channels. Josh Groom with the ball. Nice football, this young man. Was previously at Felsted and Bishop Stortford. It looks like a high tackle, and there's another penalty coming. And so subsequently, Dagenham decide to kick. They will come back for the penalty. Thurrock need to keep an eye on their discipline, of course. Can't afford to have any more players in the bin. Once again, the referee is talking to Ben Timpson after that tackle. It was important to apologise to the referee in those situations. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't mean it. If that keeps you on the field, it's worth doing. It was Kai Holloway in the tackle, low centre of gravity. He's a fitness fanatic, and so he does. So young Liam Power Jr. is full-back for Dagenham, a former Thurrock Colt. Earl Gorman and Josh Groom. Earl, of course, many seasons for Thurrock and Eton Manor. Josh Groom and William Edwards, former student. Nat Farrell on the right wing, former Thurrock player for 8 or 9 seasons. Now the captain of Dagenham. And Josh Cook, scrum half of fine repute. Earl Gorman in the centre. So a little bit of a tension there. For the captain, Ben Timpson. A problem with his back and shoulder. So Cameron to hoist this ball into the corner, into the eastern corner of the ground. He does so with his left foot. Loose from Dagenham. Thurrock tried to take advantage, but Dagenham managed to recycle. Mitch Sinfield playing a prominent role. Josh Cook feeds the forwards on the blind side. Brad Rettigan looking for work. Great player in his time, Brad Rettigan. This time though, Thurrock win the penalty. Lawrence Brown, Cody Holloway. It looks as if Jamie Orr has returned to the field. So Blake Burns with a left-footed kick to touch. Propels play forward, deep into the Dagenham half. And former Brentwood fullback Len Grindle was, of course, a teacher in Dagenham, as was John King. Good move there from Thurrock, bringing both wingers in. Wingers shown a turn of pace. Hamid Andrew, well tackled by Earl Gorman. And there's a turnover there, which is illegal. Great move by Thurrock. Now Clifford came into the line, Kai Holloway came to the line. A series of missed passes. Hamid Aminu went driving through, but was actually pulled down illegally. So Burns corner, give Thurrock an attacking line out. Very interesting to see if Brad Rettigan goes for this ball in the line out. He did repeatedly during his Thurrock career. This time though it does go to Jay Jennings at the back. And now Dagenham have not formed up, and Thurrock got a real drive on, and that's a fine try. And inevitably, that's Ben Timpson, the captain. Continues his long scoring run. 2 tries last week, frequently gets a brace. It's a fine captain's part. A terrific claim by Jay Jennings. And as soon as he took the ball to the back of the line, one outcome. This really is going to be a cliffhanger. A bit of a roller coaster, one side then the other, getting a little bit of dominance. Thurrock have been a little bit more clinical. When they've got into the 22, they've usually come away from points. The only occasion they didn't was when Burns hit the post with the penalty. So it's Burns with a conversion on the wrong side of the field for a left footer. And he's drilled that across the face of the post, so it remains Thurrock 12, Dagenham 8. One thing is absolutely certain, that Blake Burns did not learn to kick from his father, Damien Burns, who could not kick. So Tommy Cameron looking for a new ball. Kicks off the old one in disgust. Great kick-off last time by the young man. This time, though, again, brilliantly taken by George Miles. Didn't go 10. Anthony Catchpole, two props in concert. Catchpole goes to ground. Chitty is looking for the ball to Jamie Orr. Jamie looking to run straight into position, goes straight into Josh Cook, the scrum half. Always was a fine tack, Josh Cook. Brave boy. Henry his partner in the centre. Dagenham try and delay. Thurrock go for the chip ahead, which brings them back to a penalty. I always wonder why people don't continue. They have advantage of a penalty, keep running. Don't kick the ball away. They do it at every level, international level, the World Cup, they kick the ball away. Good to see Martin Dutch here this afternoon, former commentator, of course, for the Hospitals Radio. Far superior to the current one, of course, far more knowledgeable. So Blake Burns. It's a shame, really, because when Dutt was commentating, I was playing, so it shows how long ago it was. Those were the days. Hospital Radio. Always at hospital. So it's Lawrence Brown to throw in. This time it's overthrown, though. Thurrock had a good attacking option there. That was overthrown. It's given Mitch Sinfield a chance to break away. Cook has quick ball, throws out to Robson. Robson meets up with Caelan Watts-Adams in the middle of the field. Watts-Adams throws him to the ground. Again, Thurrock have a penalty. So the advantage of having Watts-Adams in the centre is that he can go for the turnover quite quickly. Josh Robson was in a bit of difficulty there, and Watts-Adams managed to steal the ball from him. Burns pushes the ball about 15 metres into touch. Thurrock Pack would have preferred a little bit further. This time Thurrock go long. Once again it's overthrown. It's given Cameron a chance to tidy up at the back. Because it wasn't straight, it looks as if Dagenham have the penalty. So it's two opportunities Thurrock have wasted there. Line out not going according to plan. Once again, the two captains are called over by Alex Lamb. Once again, it seems as if they're talking to the referee. There's no place for this in rugby. That was a high tackle by Thurrock, explained very clearly by Alex Lamb. So Cameron with a chance to clear his lines. It's a good kick, it's come up to the halfway line. Almost well taken by his porter, not quite. And so Evan Westcott has come on the field, throwing the line out. It's a better line towards the back. And it's Nat Farrell in the middle of the field. Referee suggests that's a high tackle. It's a high tackle in the middle of the field. It's Nat Farrow is the recipient of that tackle. Both players were standing up. Didn't appear to be a great deal of intent. Henry Bird is called out, the referee. It's best to apologise in this situation. And the referee is going to his pocket, and Henry Bird gets the yellow card. So once again, Thurrock down to 14 players. There's 2 indiscretions. Every time Thurrock seemed to get in a little bit of control. And discipline lets them down a little. This time though, Cameron does miss touch. Thurrock weren't quite aware and the ball has bounced a touch. To add insult to injury, the ball has bounced a touch, so it's a yellow card and a very fortuitous line out on Thurrock's line as we come to a close in this first half. So everything seemingly going Dagenham's way in this first half. Thurrock have a narrow lead of 12 points to 8. Bradford takes a beautiful ball at the back of the line out, as is his wont. Always been a tremendous operator in that department. The ball is moved across the field rather than directly forward. The referee is called to a halt just once. And when the ball goes to ground, Thurrock are awarded the scrum. So that became a maul. And once the ball was not delivered from the back, Thurrock are awarded the scrum. Been quite a fractious first half today. Hardly surprising when you find that quite a lot of former teammates are playing against each other. Very uncompromising the tackle, but Thurrock have fallen foul of. Referee on a couple of occasions. Burns is forced to come to the open side with the kick. And Dagenham have given away the penalty. So Burns with the penalty kick to touch. It's again a wonderful spiral kick. And he's found touch on the halfway line. This was a challenge for the week to start using the spiral kick. He's twice used that to really good effect. So Thurrock, who've overthrown the last 2 lines, will no doubt go short this time. This time it's Jay Jennings in the middle, who takes that really well. Thurrock get the mini drive on. Continue to press forward, even though they have only 7 forwards on the field. Scott Chitty. Thurrock give the ball there. Cody Holloway is forced to throw a dummy. There's nobody outside him. Suddenly remembering the centre isn't on the field. Cody Holloway is still going. Eventually, Cody Holloway is dragged to the ground. It's a beautiful pickup by Dritan Loka, because that wasn't the greatest pass. Burns now has got Clifford outside. He feeds Ahmed Aminu. Ahmed Aminu is a lovely run by the boy. Ahmed Aminu is still going. And then there's a high tackle. Referee says no. Great run by Ahmed Aminu. Close to scoring. Seemed like a high tackle to halt him in his progress. But Robson Groom with a kick away. But it's only come as far as Clifford. He's going one way. Clifford's going hard in field. He's broken through a couple of tackles. That would appear to be a high tackle as well. That's a very high tackle as well. Just as Clifford is herring towards the line. And that's Mitch Sinfield, the Dagenham number 8. It looks very much as if now Clifford was heading towards a try. One would think, having dismissed 2 Thurrock players for high tackles, the outcome of this should be inevitable. There was a very high tackle at head height, and we're hoping it's not a red. It is a yellow, and so Sinfield. So this has been a highly entertaining and very dramatic first half of rugby at Thurrock Oakfield. It's been thoroughly enjoyed by both sets of spectators. And as the half comes to a close, Burns puts the ball into the corner. Great move by Thurrock, even though they're without Henry Bird in the centre. Ahmed Aminu came charging into the middle of the field. Made a great run, looked to all intents and purposes if he would score. Held up at the last minute. This time Loka takes the ball in the line out. Thurrock get the drive on. Both teams have only 7 forwards. Thurrock get a slow rolling maul going. They reset. It's pulled down. The referee decides that is legal. Timpson has to wrestle to maintain possession. Thurrock still have the ball. They pick and go once again. Ball has come out to Chitty. Burns has the ball. Comes out wide. Aminu's the extra man here. Aminu throws the ball out to Kai Holloway. Kai Holloway makes the extra man tap. Aminu's having a fine game today. As twice he's come to the line to make the extra man. He's come from the blind side wing, knowing full well Henry Bird, the outside centre, the inside centre, is in the bin. And so Aminu, very wisely and very has come from the other side of the field to make the additional player, and Kai Holloway is the grateful recipient of the final pass. And he's gone over in the corner. An excellent end to the half for Thurrock at 17 points to 8. So it's 2 tries for Kai Holloway. Burns with a conversion attempt. Just Burns with a long-range conversion attempt. Nice holiday crowd here at Thurrock today. Local derby, of course. So Burns with the conversion attempt. This time he gets plenty of height, but it's sailed wide. And that is 17, Dagenham 8. It seems the referee's interventions have prolonged this half. It's going on interminably. It's almost 9 minutes now. Additional time played. Brad Rettigan as keen as ever on the kickoff. Tommy Cameron with a kickoff. This time he's put it a bit further, and Dritan Loka has taken that. Redigan remembers Loka well, puts him to ground. Burns puts the ball out of play, and that's half-time. This has been a fascinating game of rugby between these two local rivals. This time they've met in a league encounter, and it's been a very close game. Dagenham have certainly played their part. When they've got into Thurrock 22, they've been quite clinical, and they've added to the scoreline. Thurrock also have done well when in the opponent's 22 in the red zone. Unfortunately, Henry Bird went to the bin and Jamie Orr went to the bin. That was changed slightly in the direction of Thurrock when Mitch Sinfield was sent to the bin late on. Thurrock couldn't capitalise with a driving maul, so the score remains 17 points to Thurrock, 8 points to Dagenham. We're on the midst of the World Cup, and how exciting has that been? It's great to see that England are doing very well. They've had to ring the changes with Owen Farrell not being available. We had that splendid cameo performance from George North, and then Marcus Smith, in the unfamiliar role of fullback, played his part as England suddenly came good. The forwards are looking quite dominant at the moment, and England looks as if they might make a fair fist of this World Cup. Wales came completely under the radar, having had their victory against Fiji. They were able to put in a really convincing performance against Australia and defeat the Australians by the biggest ever score. Eddie Jones is not terribly complimentary initially, but he had to eat his words, and subsequently Wales go in the next game with Georgia, knowing they're already in the quarter-final. England too in the quarter-finals. Now, anybody who's written off New Zealand, I would suggest that's been done prematurely. Everybody was looking forward to last night's encounter against Italy, knowing the Italians had done really well in recent years, but it wasn't to be. And New Zealand hunt in packs, they support in packs, and they put on a commanding performance. Rarely has that been seen to World Cup. So they're very dangerous animals as well. We had the marvellous encounter with excruciating physicality between Ireland and South Africa. That was only matched by the increasing intensity of the Wales-Australia game. But Ireland and South Africa performed at such a high level. It looks as if those two are very much the favourites as we go to the quarterfinals of the World Cup in the next week or so. It's disappointing to hear that France has been hit by some sort of bug, and hopefully that won't put off too many supporters from travelling across to France. So we're looking forward to the next round, the last couple of pool games, followed by the quarterfinals. And what a World Cup it has been. It's been quite outstanding, and we're looking forward to what happens next. It could be the Northern Hemisphere team will win the World Cup for the second time only after England's performance in 2003. Hopefully Antoine Dupont will be fit and available for the latter stage of the tournament. We want all great players to be in the tournament. So Martin Jones, Dave Stevens, Dave Catchpole have got the Thurrock players together. Andy Yarrow is talking heatedly to the Dagenham team. And this is going to be a really interesting second half. It won't be long before Thurrock are restored to 15 players. Dagenham will have to wait a little bit longer to have Sinfield returning. No bunker system here, of course, at this level. Be interesting to see how many of those yellow cards would have been turned to red cards. One or two of them look particularly high. But it's a really good local encounter, and the second half should produce another rugby. Got some young fans here in the grandstand. We like to encourage them, but it's very important they remain safe. So I have Mark O'Dana with me this afternoon, of course, as ever. Did a marvellous job last week of doing the commentary as well as the camera work. It's good to see Aaron Antrobus with us this afternoon. It's good afternoon to Aaron Antrobus there in the crowd today. Of course, Thurrock prop Aaron Antrobus has been injured for most of the season, and glad to see him back in the crowd today. We're hoping he'll come up and say a few words. An expert scrummaging. Tommy Cameron to him. With his trusty left foot. Very well taken by Caelan Watts-Adams. Decides to go up in the middle of the field and throws a difficult pass to Ben Timpson. And Thurrock at 6 and 7s from out in the middle of the field. It's good afternoon, Aaron Antrobus, and what do you think of the game so far today? Tough encounter.
Yeah, definitely a very physical one. Afternoon, so a bit more of that, but keep playing the game of rugby.
And what do you think of the up so far? England going well. Marcus Smith at fullback. What do you think?
Oh, we're going all the way, bro. We're going to win it. We're going to win it, mate.
There's Josh Cook, former Thurrock scrum half there, throwing a dummy, going down to his knee almost immediately. Good to see Jack Cowman here this afternoon. So we have two former Thurrock props, one injured and one plying his trade elsewhere. Jack, what do you think of the game so far?
It's been a good game, good day for it. Boys are up for it. Physical game. Can't complain. Joy to watch. Players are even better. So
why aren't you playing today?
Injured myself a couple of weeks back. Shoulder, so oh my goodness. Recovery and I'll be back soon.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Shouldn't take you long, young man. Aaron, all the best, and look after yourself, and hope to see you back in the commentary box soon and back on the field soon.
Hopefully. I'm in the gym, mate. I'll be back soon.
Thank you very much. So this time ball's flicked back is very well taken by Anthony Catchpole, the back. Jay Jennings. So it was an error-strewn part of the game by Thurrock. Ball has gone backwards a couple of times there. Really poor handling at the beginning of the second half. Chitty throws the ball to Burns, who restores some order with a kick across the field, but that has gone to Cameron, who feeds Josh Cook in the middle of the field. Josh Cook decides to kick. It's very well taken by Niall Clifford. He decides to slow procedures down by taking the mark. Good positional sense by Niall Clifford, the former Ulster man. This time he taps, kicks the ball up the middle of the field. It's bouncing, Brad Redgan takes it. He's taken by Dan Orff, who's just come onto the field. Dan Orff, the hooker, has replaced Lawrence Brown for the second half. Jamie Orr and Jay Jennings have to make a tackle there. Cameron throws short ball to Josh Cook. This time Dritton Loker makes the high tackle. It seems if Josh Groom was going to ground. It's unfortunate because Josh Groom has a little bit of a in his face. did seem on that occasion if both players were going to ground, but it's very hard to see with the naked eye. And of course, we don't have the benefit of a TMO or a bunker system. This has been a really good game of rugby. It would be a shame if it's spoiled by another sending off. The referee allows water carriers onto the field. There's been a minor injury to Jamie Orr. Unfortunately, that led to Josh Groom leaving the field. Hopefully not too seriously. The physiotherapist went off quickly with him, indicating perhaps they're going to try to stitch the cut. There's been a huge amount of controversy in the World Cup with high tackles, and it's fairly obvious this is going to overlap into the domestic game, and the referees have to be so careful. The referee did agree with my initial observation that both players were going to ground at the same time, and so he's awarded only a penalty, much to the amazement of the Dagenham team. So Tommy Cameron, with his trusty left foot, pushes the ball close down to the Thurrock 20. So the Brad Redkin will play an important part in this line-out. It's gone long, gets slapped down. Gorman does well to take that in mid-air. It's a high ball, exposes ribs little. Are penalised. There's been some dissent, and Thurrock can march back 10 yards. Been quite a touchy period in this game. It is detracting from the flowing rugby that we know both teams can play. Dagenham have the perfect attacking position, a scrum in front of Thurrock's posts, about 10 metres out. Couldn't be any more conducive to opportunity. That's a fine pickup by Brad Redkin, who drives over the line. So it seemed to wheel a little. Dagenham took advantage. Redkin got over for the try in the post. At 17 points to 13, the conversion to come. And Josh Groom has come back onto the field. That's good news. Good news for everybody. Converts that, and it's 17-15. Henry Bird has reached the field. And Tom Wildman has come onto the field to replace Anthony Catchpole. It's a great floating ball by Burns, taken by Dan Olf. Floats a lovely pass out to Watts Adams to Henry Bird. Watts Adams throws a ball then behind Aminu, and the advantage is lost. Good attacking opportunity for Thurrock. Well picked up by Loka. Nice miss pass. Great kick-off from Burns, and a tremendous take for the newcomer, Dan Ulf. It is Thurrock's throw. Throws in short to Loka. Ben Timpson throws the dummy. Ill-advisedly. It's tackled by two players. Chitty gets the ball out. Jay Jennings goes for a run in the middle of the field. Farrell's had to go into the forwards. And Loka runs across the field, straight at the fly half. Chitty claims the ball. Watts Adams does well. It's a good counter-ruck by Dagenham. They have killed the ball. Not quite sure what happened there. Dagenham tried to change the ball. Kai Holrose having none of it. Blake Burns prepares to push the ball in the corner. Tom Wildman has come onto the field instead of Anthony Catchpole, trying to motivate the other forwards, demanding more from them. Ball goes to the front of the line out. It's been knocked on by Thurrock. The 17 points to 15. This game is bounced on knife edge. The lack of discipline from both teams has irritated the referee somewhat. So Josh Cook attempts to steady the ship. Good to see Josh Groom back onto the field. Temporary hold up for the cut. Thurrock this time get a better drive on. Was well held by Cook. Come back to Cameron. Manages to find touch just outside his 22. Sends the ball boys scampering. Ben Timpson gets that ball over the top. Looks like very much like a no arms tackle there. So Thurrock conceding another penalty. Gives Cameron a chance to clear his lines. Good afternoon, stand and friends. This time ball's gone over the top, and that gives Dan Orff a chance to run at Josh Cook. Feeds the ball back. Jamie Orr runs close to the breakdown. Blake Burns feeds the ball out. Henry Bird brings now Clifford in. Clifford looks inside. Ahmed Aminu looking for work. On the deep outside, he's thrown to ground. The Thurrock are given a penalty. A very solid performance by both teams in defence. Very few opportunities amongst three quarters. Only time Thurrock have managed to get away is when they've made the extra man round the outside with Ahmed Aminu coming across from the left wing. So stop in play, gentlemen. What do you think of the excruciating intensity of the Rugby World Cup? Ireland against South Africa. No answer. These former players are now museum pieces. That's the problem. They're afraid of the modern game. Very intense encounter, this one. We're not sure which way this match is going. I think much depends upon which team can keep 15 players on the field. So Thurrock just have the edge at 17 points to 15, 2 points ahead. They now have an attacking line-out. They've managed to get the drive going. The ball goes loose. Danhoff tidies up. Rolls forward. Chitty looking to feed his forwards. A shrill blow of the whistle, though, indicates that Dagenham have the advantage and are given a penalty. Cameron with a much better kick, pushes play into the Thurrock half. Fortunately, the line wasn't straight. Now, can Thurrock conjure up something amongst their three quarters? Clifford and Aminu looking interested as Chitty feeds the ball. Thurrock get the quick tap, his free kick. Comes wide to Clifford. He runs straight to Groom. It's a good counter tackle by Groom. He has upended his man.
Just because you're losing.
This time, unfortunately, Burns misses touch, and because of that, Josh Cook kicks down the line. Fortuitous bounce means that Dagenham have the line out. Mark dummying run, darting run by Josh Cook. Rettigan picks and drives forward. He's well tackled. It's a good turnover by Cody Holloway. This time Burns makes certain of touch. Perhaps lacking a little adventure after the previous kick, missed the target. This time it's a great line of ball from Jay Jennings. Thurrock used all their backs this time. Burns feeds Clifford. Clifford has a chance to come back inside. This time he goes to ground. Thurrock win possession again. Loka drives hard. Could clear out. Holloway comes back inside. The numbers appear to be outside. Chitty, Ben Timpson, Burns. Holloway, Jamie Orr. Bird feeds the ball out wide to Clifford. This time he gives Watts Adams a chance. He feeds inside to Clifford. Clifford decides to carry on with the run. Chitty goes blind. Feeds Jay Jennings. Jay Jennings thumps forward. They still have possession. One or two players are down. Clifford is down. Got back to his feet. Chitty struggles to win the ball. This time Dagenham win the turnover with Thurrock not enough numbers of the breakdown. Referee missed that little professional nudge there by Josh Cook on Scott Chitty. Trying to teach a young man a lesson. But Thurrock guilty of dissent. It gives Cameron a chance to smash that ball deep into Thurrock 22. Now they're playing with their heads up, and they've gone from a position of deep defence with a strengthening wind behind them into a very good attacking position. 17 points to 15 to Thurrock. Looks particularly precarious at this point in time. Again, that's overthrown. It gives Walmer a chance to bring the ball away. He runs in the middle of the field, goes to ground. Thurrock win quick possession, comes back to Burns. He kicks. Farrell has gone back for that one. He has a chance to run himself. He's being pursued by Henry Bird across the middle of the field. Henry Bird has managed to get the tackle in. Dagenham recycled. He decided to put the ball wide. It looked like a forward pass, but the referee hasn't given it. Dagenham continue on the attack. Josh Cook feeds the forwards. Cook, Cameron hands off his man, runs a kid and Watts Adams. And Timms makes an excellent tackle. Feeds a short ball inside. Nat Farrell looking for work. Runs into Caden Watts Adams. Brad Rettigan. It's a great tackle by Holloway. Robson. Josh Groom. Blake Burns has to scurry across, tries to get to his feet, fails to do so, and the referee gives the inevitable penalty. So a little bit of know-how from Dagenham's most experienced players have put them in this position where they have a great opportunity now to close out this game. Josh Cook goes to Mitch Sinfield, expecting a pick up from the number 8 here. Dagenham won the strike, they managed to get the drive on. That is screwed around, it's wheeled around. Sinfield picks up. Sinfield has dived over. So it's Dagenham 20 points, Thurrock 17. Dagenham have taken their chances when they've occurred. Brad Redkin, as professional as ever, going back to get defence organised for the next kick-off as Cameron attempts this very important conversion. It's Dagenham 20, Thurrock 17. Something of a staccato game. A lot of infringements, got a bit of bickering. Cameron draws out across the posts, so it remains Dagenham 20, Thurrock 17. So Timson and Clifford have to rally their troops for one last effort. Burns' kick-off hangs in the air. Gives Clifford a chance to run down the line. Feeds Holloway on the outside. Holloway comes hard inside. Burns now making sure with his kicks. Goes Jamie Orr in the middle of the line out. Thurrock get the drive on. Alf is at the back. Release Aminu on the outside, but he is deemed to have rolled for one extra roll and given away the penalty. Cameron gratefully receives. Thurrock failing to take their chances in the course of this game. Put together some fluent moves, which have just broken down at the final hurdle and given Dagenham a chance to turn the ball over. And the control of Cook and Cameron has meant they've been able to repel most of Thurrock's opportunities. Again, the line-out isn't straight. Thurrock opt for the line-out this time. It's a good ball to Jennings, feeds Chitty. This time Henry Bird is the first receiver. Manages to throw off Josh Cook. Unfortunate knock on. So just can't seem to get any continuity in this game. They can't put together enough phases to trouble the Dagenham defence. Good run by Jay Jennings. Thurrock already have the penalty. Be wise to carry on playing. Clifford comes in the line, throws a dummy, goes up the middle of the field, well held. Back for a second attempt. This time Ben Timpson to the fore. Thurrock again have possession. Dritan Loka. The referee comes back for an earlier penalty. No, it's a knock-on. The advantage must have been over. A certain amount of fatigue setting in. This has been a very even contest today. Neither side dominating for long periods, interspersed with some tetchy behaviour, which has meant there's been very little continuity. Thurrock unfortunately lost the services of Harry Reynolds just over a week ago, and he's been a real find over the last 2 seasons, and we wish him well and hope he gets back to full fitness sooner rather than later. Scott Chitty's had to step in at scrum half. He's done a very good job in the absence of Jake Bedding and Alex Jones. He's on the bench for Thurrock today after a recent injury, and looks as if the coaches are reluctant to use Murphy at the moment. He might be just the person to freshen things up. If Thurrock wants some extra ballast in the second row, they could move Watts Adams in there and bring Murphy onto the field. At the moment we've arrived at virtual stalemate. Dagenham have a scrum just inside their own half. They do have the feed and head. Cameron's waiting. Farrell is moved into the... Sorry, he's moved... Looks like a centre position. Bit of a roving role for the young man. Three of the players on the field today have an association with William Edward School. There's Brad Rettigan and Josh Groom, who are students there. And Nat Farrell, who's a teacher there. So a very even scrum. Josh Cook gets in there and Cameron is about to put the ball downfield. Finds Clifford. Clifford fields the ball quite easily. Looking to run back. Is put to ground by a brace of tacklers. Liam Power makes the tackle there. Chitty feeds Jamie Orr, who goes route one. Splendid isolation and the easy turnover. Jamie Orr's gone straight into the heart of the Dagenham defence. Just gets marginally isolated, and it offers the turnover opportunity. Cameron, encouraged by the wind, has planted that one onto the Thurrock 22. And Dagenham have their best chance to close out the game. It's been a little bit of a disappointing afternoon for Thurrock. They looked on top at the beginning of the first half and looked as if they could cement their lead. It hasn't turned out to be that way. And Dagenham have clawed their way back in the game and taken most of their opportunities. That's the thorn in the side of Thurrock. Brad Rettigan wins that line to the front. Dagenham set up the ruck. Mitch Sinfield in midfield. Forwards carry it on. Cody Holloway searches for the ball. Cook restores possession. Comes through to Josh Groom. Sinfield in the middle of the field. Wrestles with Watts Adams. Watts Adams looks to counter. Evan Westcott. This time the ball goes wide to Nat Farrell. He's well tackled by Ahmed Aminu. Textbook tackle. Switches inside. Is Wilkinson a chance? Cook again. This time Jamie Orr strong in the tackle on Josh Groom. Dagenham looking for their opportunity, close out the game. Farrell breaks through the tackle. He's put to ground again by Aminu. And a fair old tussle, those two. Chance for Daniels. Cook feeds the blind side. Just the last moment. Dagenham dropped the ball. And Thurrock regained possession. Proven to be a difficult season for Thurrock. Games they should have won quite easily. Once again, they're looking down the barrel. Fine performances from the former Thurrock players. Particularly good performance from Josh Groom in the middle of the park. Tom Cameron and Liam Power at full-back. So it's quite an easy afternoon. So Scott Chitty to feed the ball. They'd go back in the scrum, but Timpson picks up in his usual way. Feeds on to Henry Bird. Thurrock this time a bit better in the clear out. Feed Danolf. Danolf throws a dummy. Goes into contact. Rolls. Cody Holloway feeds Blake Burns. He kicks ball up in the middle of the field to give Thurrock a chance. Ball is bouncing awkwardly. Kai Holloway now Clifford. So the bounce of the ball favoured Dagenham. Brad Redgun met by a firm tackle from Dritan Loka. Old teammates saying hello again. And the referee has seen a forward pass. Bouncing ball almost fell into the lap of Earl Gorman. Age 53 nowadays, but still playing a good role in the middle of the park. He's like Steve Bowen, former Thurrock and Eton Manor player. Eton Manor player. The Sands. My goodness. Earl sporting a dazzling new hairstyle this week as befits a player of his mould. So eventually Rob Murphy does come onto the field. He moves on to the wing. Kai Holloway goes scrum half. Ben Timpson picks up. Jamie Orr tracks Nat Farrell across the field. Dagenham the penalty. And Cameron kicks down the field. On the touchline. It's going down the outside. Again in discipline lets Thurrock down. They're on the attack. They give away the penalty. Shame, a good run by Aminu. Plenty of support there inside. They couldn't quite capitalise and then give away the vital penalty. I think unfortunately Thurrock have been dragged down to a certain level of playing which they're not used to. They have lost a little bit of confidence and they've lost certainly the legal battle today. Dagenham make another change. It's Lewis Bruce, another former Thurrock player who takes field.
Mikey straight! Mikey straight! Not straight!
Big tackle there in the middle of the field. Has left Holloway in a bit of difficulty on the floor. Alex Evans, the physio, is dealing with that. Good to see Cody Holloway sitting up. Evans pulling him to his feet. Seems to have recovered. It does look as if he's having to leave the field. So Lawrence Brown comes back onto the flank. Lawrence Brown going back to hooker, leaving Dan Olf on the flank. Sure whether Cody Holloway's had some sort of knock to his shoulder. He's walking off unaided, so we're hoping it's not too serious. Cook feeds Cameron. Bruce feeds Earl Gorman. Earl Gorman's still showing lots of vital energy towards the end of the game. Mitch Sinfield has played a prominent role today, bustling through the middle of the field. That is Lewis Bruce going through. A bit like the opening of the Red Sea. Former Thurrock Lewis Bruce. Dagenham have fought their way back in this game. Thurrock have been able to produce any continuity. And because of their indiscretions and numerous penalties, Dagenham have finished off the game now with that try which deprived the bonus point as well. So it's Dagenham 25, Thurrock 17 with Cameron to kick the conversion. That is 27. So a 10-point differential as Thurrock prepare to kick off. Completely unsure of how much time is left in this game. A bouncing ball, and Nat Farrell takes the ball in the air and he's tackled in the air. And the referee gives yet another penalty. We're hoping that the former Thurrock favourite is all right. He's the captain of Dagenham. Been leading his team very well today. This time Cameron off his right foot, rather fortunately, managed to slice the ball. It bounced into the middle of the field. Farrell took the ball, but in mid-air, before he got to ground, was tackled by his ops number. Cameron with his trusty left foot sends Thurrock backwards a rate of knots, deep into their 22. A very experienced half-back combination has dominated most of the second half. Cook has been exemplary, and Cameron has managed to control the game with his kicking. There's been obstruction, and so Thurrock get the penalty. Descent sends Dagenham back. Thurrock will desperately be looking for a bonus point.
Bill, you over? Yeah, you go. George's first game half 10. And then you would call it. You're over Thurrock. You're over here soon.
So many countries, and he says he's from them. So I don't know.
That's the final whistle. Dagenham have put together a fine performance. They've outthought Thurrock in various aspects of the game, and they've run out winners by 27 points. Thurrock struggled throughout the game to develop any sort of continuous play. They just could not put the phases together, and subsequently they've paid the penalty. Dagenham being particularly well served at halfback, and John in the centre, outstanding game alongside the elder statesman Earl Gorman. Brad Rettigan has been an outstanding player for Dagenham, as he was for many years for Thurrock. So it's honours to Dagenham this afternoon at Thurrock Oakfield, and Thurrock are very disappointed with the outcome of this game. They're called together by the coaches, and we wish Dagenham all the best for the rest of the season, and hopefully Thurrock can get back to winning ways fairly soon. So it's a very good afternoon to you all from Thurrock Oakfield. Traditional 3 cheers ends the game. Nat Farrell thanks his players. It's been a particularly rewarding victory for him and the veterans of this Dagenham team. Perhaps fitting, Lewis Bruce scores the winning try, and Josh Cook is the last man off the field. It's been a tough one for Thurrock to take at home. Probably favours going to this game. Dagenham take some good travelling support with them, and they're the ones who were loudest today. Dagenham have a lot of spirit and deserve that victory in the end. But Thurrock will be bitterly disappointed. They had some chances to win the game, particularly at half-time, couldn't convert those into reality, and they've turned out to have lost yet another game at home this season. So, good afternoon to all our viewers from Thurrock Oakfield. We wish you well and good luck with the rest of the World Cup, and we hope that all the home nations can do really well and get through the latter stages. Good afternoon.